That was Rockstar by Post Malone. You're listening to phoenixradio.com.au. This is Jason's Sports Rundown. The time is 1:33 p.m. We're talking about the NFL and why not bring a few guests to help us preview the games this week. We got Lauchlan and Harrison joining us. So the first matchup, we got the Vikings and Chargers at SoFi Stadium. What do you guys think about that one?
There's a couple games this week that jump out to me for all the wrong reasons. Chargers, Vikings, both of those offenses have been struggling, to say the least. It's going to be definitely a close game, especially at SoFi. There's going to be plenty of Vikings fans there because every Chargers home game is basically a default away game for whoever they play. But
before relocating to Vegas, the Vikings were based there, right?
No. You're thinking Raiders. Vikings are Minnesota. Yeah.
Look, Justin Herbert, it all comes off the back of him for the Chargers. I mean, Carson Wentz is the quarterback for Minnesota. The Vikings won't get the ball rolling. They're going to rely on Justin Jefferson as always. Aaron Jones, he's still injured. So, look, very...
They're going to have to rely on him, but they don't have the running game. They're not going to get the running game moving. And that's what happened last week against Go Birds, against the Eagles, The Eagles defense, when they're on, man. And, I think it's the Vikings right now. I'm going to give them the nod. Yes, they've got a lot of problems going right now, but Justin Herbert is the lone wolf for the Chargers. He can't do it all himself.
No.
The Vikings have the slight nod defensively, I think.
You reckon?
I think the Vikings are going to get this one.
Oh, I'm going to oppose you. The Chargers 4-3. It's going to be 5-3. And, it's going to be a nice game Friday morning, Australian time.
What do you guys feel about the Dolphins Falcons? I know
we were talking about this just before. I want to be polite.
Yeah, the Dolphins haven't exactly had the world's best start to the season.
I'm a huge Dolphins fan.
I'm shocked. Well, we can start here. I'm shocked Mike McDaniel still is going to be making the play calls this weekend because I thought for sure he was going to get sacked, Ange Postecoglou style in the tunnel. But I think right now the Dolphins are just the Dolphins. They are.
Here's my tip. They win it this week. They turn the season around this week. I know it's a bold call. Very bold. Mike McDaniel will last it out to the end of the year. They've done very well. They've done well the past few years. They've done well.
My prediction, Bijan Robinson runs for 200 yards. Yeah. Falcons by 21.5.
Look, is that your tip? Is that your pick,
bro? They're gonna come. They're in Atlanta. It's the Benz is a hard place to come and get a win for anyone, right? Let alone the Dolphins, dude. The Dolphins, they're 1-6 for a reason.
But Tua.
Okay, another prediction. Tua's going to get his 35,000th concussion of his career this weekend.
It's paying $1.10. You could probably jump on that market and it'd probably be a safe bet. But look, Tua was benched last week. I mean, a rookie took his spot. I'm surprised Tua's starting this week.
Quinn Ewers, I think. It's a mistake not to start him this week because we saw it. He could ball out in Texas in the SEC. He balled out week after week after week, and he showed it because he was starting over Arch Manning, and Arch Manning had all the talk there at Texas. He still does, right? So Quinn Ewers is used to being the guy who's less talked about. Everyone, the talk is about Tua. Talk Tua, but they're I'm so sorry for that. The talk is on Tua, so that for a fact Quinn Ewers wants to come in, he wants to make a name for himself, and he wants to prove everyone wrong.
My thing about Arch Manning, if it's Arch Moore doesn't get a start for Texas, but it's Arch Manning. It's a big name. He's getting the start for Texas. How is Texas going at the moment? I haven't been following my college. He's been slow. He's been slow.
They're doing about as well as Penn State. Next game, I believe we have Bears and Ravens, right?
Yeah. But I jump on this game. I think's interesting. Bengals Jets. What do you think about that one?
Jamar Chase is gonna. Jamar Chase and Sauce Gardner is going to be a tremendous matchup. They always is when they go after each other. It's one of the best receivers versus one of the best man-up corners in the league.
Yeah. 100%.
It's going to be a matchup to watch. The rest of the game. Okay, it'll be a game, but I think there's going to be a lot of those this week, and a lot of teams that have a lot to prove coming into this weekend are getting the chance to play each other. And I think that this is actually going to be the weekend that for a lot of teams are going to basically predict the rest of their season. You know, there's a couple teams coming into this weekend. The Bengals are one of them, right? They're in a tough division, but right now they've got 3 struggling teams in that division. Pittsburgh is arguably the best out of all of them. The Ravens are 1-5. They are a basket case right now.
And that's terrible. And well, Lamar Jackson's probably back this week for the Ravens. But back to the Jets. We should talk about Cincinnati. Joe Flacco.
Baller.
Yeah, he's killing
it. Joe Cool is turning back the clock, and I guarantee every year, whenever he starts against the Ravens, he always balls out because he is not stoked with the way that things ended for him in Baltimore. I grew up y'all, a lot of y'all know I'm an Eagles fan, diehard Eagles fan. What y'all don't know is I grew up in a diehard Ravens household outside of Baltimore.
How are you still here?
I know. But Flacco, the way that they did him dirty, man, he was a franchise quarterback. He brought them a bowl, and then they just future endeavored him for a rookie quarterback.
How many times have we seen franchises, pick up a first rounder quarterback and throw him to the curb? Baker Mayfield, prime example, killing it.
The difference is that Flacco and Lamar Jackson are like comparing apples to screwdrivers. Like Lamar Jackson, they don't play the same style of ball. Flacco is your typical pocket passer, which is why he's fitting so well with this offense right now in Cincinnati. And I think Flacco's going to do it again. Flacco's going to get the W for the Bengals.
Yeah, look at an 0-8 Jets team. That looks so sad.
They need Rex Ryan back ASAP.
If you're a Jets sponsor, you're leaving. You're out the door.
All right, we'll end on one last game. I think this one you'll like.
This is the game of the week.
Eagles-Giants.
It's the game
Jackson Dart versus Jalen Hurts.
Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo, who had his coming out party against Philadelphia. I hate the Giants with a burning passion. There are not many teams on this planet I dislike more. The Dallas Cowboys are the number one, but the New York Giants earned my respect this year. They turned back to school. If you look at when the Giants were at their best in the 2000s, they were a hard-nosed football team. They had Michael Strahan. They had Tiki Barber. This team has always been a punch-you-in-your-mouth team when they've been at their most successful. They're back to that right now. Jackson Dart is balling, but right now, it's give it to the CTE king himself, Cam Scatterboo.
Giants win.
Give him the ball. Now, I don't know because we're back at the link, right?
Man, Jalen Hurts isn't using these wide receivers.
A.J. Brown had 2 touchdowns last weekend.
Yeah, but prior to last week, it's like A.J. Brown has been...
They have Saquon Barkley, though. Here's the problem, right? Everyone talks about how A.J. Brown's not touching the ball, A.J. Brown's not touching the ball. When you have A.J. Brown as your wide receiver in any team in this league, he is your number one guy. He is your only weapon. When he came from Tennessee, he was the guy, right? He's come into a team with Devontae Smith. He's come into a team with Dallas Goedert. He's come into a team with even the 3 and 4 receivers are starters and top 3 receivers in any other team in the league. And then you've got Saquon Barkley in the backfield. There's too many weapons for this team to deal with. I think that they went in to a tough game on the road. The Giants showed them a lot that game. I believe that coming back to the link, it's going to be a much different feel, especially after getting that dub. Giants fans really felt themselves really good after that W, and they should have, right? It was a big win. Coming into the link, it's going to be a different story. Eagles by 14.
They were brought back down to earth, Giants fans, last week.
They were, and Eagles fans were brought down to earth when we lost to the Giants, and we showed them when we're firing. 100%. It's a redemption arc. This is a team, a Philadelphia Eagles team that has all the weapons, and now they've got the motivation to do it. Eagles by 14.
Yeah, it will be an interesting game. Thank you guys for coming on, adding value to the NFL discussion. Coming up soon, we're going to be talking about the Brisbane Roar, but the song up next is In Your Eyes by The Weeknd and Doja Cat.